So I'm from Philadelphia, born and raised. I literally live 5 minutes from where I grew up now. Product of the Philadelphia public school system. By no means was I a good student in high school. So my dad, being the very intelligent person that he was, sat me down and said, hey, college isn't for everyone. And based on your last 4 years of performance in high school, college may not be the thing for you. And I'm not gonna waste a whole bunch of money for you to go to college and do the exact same thing that you just did in high school. But you need to do something. Figure out what it is you wanna do, commit to it, stick with it, and let me know what it is. I said to myself, hey, my dad was in the Marines. How hard could that be? I quickly realized how hard it could be, and quickly said to myself, this was not a well thought out decision. But spent 4 years in the Marines. I hit the 4-year point. I decided I wanted to stay in the military, but did not want to stay in the Marine Corps. So I learned that you could re-enlist, but you did not have to re-enlist in the same branch. So I decided I was going to go into the Pennsylvania Air National Guard, so the Air Force Reserves, essentially. The Air Force is what got me into tech. I picked a job by accident. I had no idea what the job was when I picked it. What I knew was the guys who were doing the job, they were out of shape. They weren't spending a lot of time outdoors. I could tell they weren't missing any meals. Those guys are sitting in front of computers. They're not doing a whole lot. I want that job. I had no idea what it was. I had no understanding of what I'd be doing, but that ended up being one of the best decisions I could have made. Spent a year in Iraq, came home and said, okay, now it's time to just combine what I was doing in the military with my civilian job, my civilian life, and I'm gonna work in tech. While I was working in tech, I was seeing a common pattern, which was often your diversity gets concentrated in the lowest paying jobs in tech. And those are the jobs that also have the least amount of opportunity for economic growth. In the higher paying jobs in tech, there's almost no diversity. The city of Philadelphia is 44% Black as a city, but only 2.5% of people who work in tech are Black. So me seeing those things, I felt like I had to do something. What that something was, I didn't know. So I just started volunteering at a rec center. At this time I was still working at Penn Medicine, managing data infrastructure projects. So I would get off work in the evenings and go to a rec center and teach web development. In the beginning, I thought that's all it would be. It would be the thing that I did when I had time off from work. But more kids started to show up, and eventually we got to the point where more kids were coming than I could effectively teach myself. So I started bringing in volunteers from the tech community. I realized we needed important things like insurance and background checks. So we had to actually form an organization. And that's really what Coded by Kids grew out of.
The city of Philadelphia, our biggest problem is our level of poverty. And Sylvester was attacking our poverty issue at the right level. He was teaching young children how to learn about coding and technology that can change their lives, teaching them, educating them to become future tech leaders in our city, which is really amazing. And by the way, in the last 15, 20 years, look how our economy has changed so dramatically. 20 years ago, maybe the biggest companies were General Electric or General Motors or Ford. What are they today? Amazon, Apple. It's a different world out there than it was 20 years ago. And we have to make sure that our future leaders, our children, are equipped to handle the economy, not just of today, but also of tomorrow. And Coded by Kids and Sylvester, that's what they do.
When I was figuring out how I would model Coded by Kids, I didn't look to education. I actually looked to European youth soccer academies. And what I found interesting was the progressive developmental model that they had and how they were looking to recruit kids as early as possible and progressively develop them and work with them as they're growing. And I felt like, well, why can't we do the same thing in tech? Why can't we create a professional developmental model where we're taking kids as early as possible and giving them the support, the resources, the education, everything that they need to then go off into the upper tier of tech. Our kids will without a doubt be more than prepared for jobs and to go to work, but that's the low water mark for us. What we're working towards is we want to see how many of our kids are able to start scalable venture-backed startups. We want to see how many of our kids 10 and 15 years from now are CEOs of companies and CTOs of companies.
I found out coding through Coded by Kids, and so it created different opportunities for me to actually expand what I already knew on the technology field, but now it's just we're doing amazing things. Well, I'm personally doing amazing things, and it's all possible from Coded by Kids.
This is really exciting because you're constantly learning new stuff and learning new ways to do your work and research and learning more computer languages. So this seems to be pretty fun to me. I don't know. I just love programming.
I've never seen or met a person that is more dedicated to a cause than Sylvester is about our organization and our mission.
He's a great person, honestly. I would honestly consider him a friend. Yeah, I know he's my boss and all, but yeah, he's a really good person. Like right now, he's setting up stuff to help me pay for college and whatnot, which is super helpful because I probably wouldn't be able to attend college otherwise.
Look how many lives he has touched, and that he will personally, and his Coded by Kids organization, will be responsible to change the lives of all these children dramatically.
Sylvester has given these young people life-changing skills, like employable skills or even entrepreneurial skills for those who decide I'm going to work for a short period of time, or I'm just going to go ahead and launch a company because I know how to build something, and I'm excited about the opportunities. And that to me is just, that's revolutionary. I think that to have young people in urban environments see this as also a pathway is extremely important.
Dr. Height saw this program and thought it was great, and he has now put it into 3 public high schools as a required course, coding. So it's working. This is monumental. This will change dramatically the lives of our kids.
Philadelphia has one of 2 directions to go in. Either that growth that's going to happen is going to happen as one Philadelphia, or we're going to have 2 very different Philadelphias. We're at that point where we can make a decision for which one we're going to be. We haven't gone too far down, either of those paths yet. And we have an opportunity to be one Philadelphia where everyone is reaping the benefits of the growth. And that growth the reality is it's coming from tech. If we can turn our city into an innovation hub for all of the city, we can grow as one Philadelphia.